So there's a joke at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that feels like it was written just for me.
Captain found this free in a junker shop. Said you'd come back to the fold someday.
What is it?
It's called a Zune. It's what everybody's listening to on Earth nowadays. It's got 300 songs on it.
300 songs?
So the joke is that everyone on Earth definitely does not have a Microsoft Zune. However, I do. In fact, I have the same one which is featured in the movie, a 2006 brown 30 gigabyte Microsoft Zune. The Zune is a portable media player released in November 2006. Back then, things were a little different, and the only smartphones looked like this. Back then, phones didn't have a lot of memory, so loads of people had a phone and a portable media player, often called an MP3 player. The iPod is by far the most famous example of these, but there were loads of others. There was a lot of competition in this industry in the early 2000s, though by the time the Zune released, Apple's iPod was the market leader by far. Introducing a new device to the market in late 2006 wasn't the smartest idea for Microsoft, but there was something weirdly appealing about the Zune, and I wanted one right from the start. On a technical level, the devices they released were strong competition against the iPod, but convincing people to try something different was a challenge. A few months after launch, so in early 2007, Apple's iPod players accounted for 72.7% of all MP3 players sold. While a few million people bought Zunes between 2006 and 2009, Microsoft only ever reached 3% market share for MP3 players. In the years after the iPhone was released, MP3 players evolved into two distinct categories: devices with large amounts of storage for people with huge music collections, and lightweight devices for people doing exercise and sports. The iPod Touch changed expectations of customers by adding loads of new features, and interest in Apple's classic iPod dropped. In September 2014, the last iPod Classic was discontinued as technology was rapidly outpacing the need for such a device. Today, most of us stream our music, so there isn't much need for a device that can store loads of songs. Even if you prefer to download your music, today's phones have exponentially more space than they did in 2006. That said, using my Zune is a nostalgic experience and still does an excellent job playing music. It took a little work to get it running again after finding it, including installing a new battery, but it was a time capsule of my musical interests from 15 years ago. I even found a lost recording of a song from my band in high school. It's been fun updating the Zune with new music, and I'm enjoying using it again after many years.